sort of recover themselves and maybe into a threat. What is he doing?
O Marvin vai dando a volta, viu ele, o Conan lá de trás. Salva o Gavok, Conan de novo.
Liz here with Josh RT, the coach of G2. A very convincing stolen Furia map pick. Now, we were just talking before this, and you said you were ready for it. What did you mean by that?
Practice was hard this week, and we made sure all of our maps are like at top form, and Lotus is one of our picks that like we actually like to pick. So, I mean, that's a little secret that we wanted to give away. Like we're ready for anything here.
Let's look on your map.
Welcome back, everyone. And look, let's not beat around the bush. It was a shellacking, a trouncing, a beatdown. It was
game, in other words.
Of Valorant.
Yes, it was one of the games of Valorant. And here's the thing: if anything,
that's always a good intro.
Yeah.
It was one of the games.
It was one of the games of Valorant of the time. But you know, at the very least, as you look at G2, they were in form. They could do nothing wrong. And this guy, Icy, was finding himself in this matchup. Also, that lower third is hilarious.
No, it's not.
It's totally great.
Icy thought.
Icy
Why not, like, Icy showed up looking like a Slurpee today? Because Icy's are like bad forms of Slurpees. Icy's are bad Slurpees, we can all agree on that.
Oh,
okay.
yeah. No, Icy's and Slurpees are not the same
Yeah,
thing.
Slurpees actually have good flavors.
How dare you, sir?
Icy's have two flavors.
Icy's in New York are
There's
delicious.
a difference?
Okay.
There is a difference,
I don't
but
think there's a difference.
it seems like there was no difference in this game because it felt like no matter
There
what.
was a difference. Because he was looking good. He went positive. He came out here and he had a good game. And look, I feel like that's the thing where you have to wait for him because it had been a couple of rough weeks. Now he's had his good game. Hopefully it's upward from here.
Yeah, but I mean, beyond even that, it was a clean game from G2. I think Valorant's calling on their defensive side, or on their attacking side rather, was really good. They do a lot of these rounds where they're early pressuring, retaking space off that Rebel fight, and then moving back, going for these late round hits. And Furia, let's be honest, gave them so many opportunities for opening picks, some tax-deductible moments for sure. Yeah.
Tax season's done, man.
I love a good tax.
Furia only won one rifle round, and that's coming off of last week where they got 3 versus energy. Like, it's just brutal.
Yeah, and you can you could see what the problems are, right? No communication. They're taking fights by themselves like way too often. There's just too much of an emphasis, on players trying to make a play happen, and that has just cost them so many rounds, round after round.
I mean, earlier we were talking about how you have to have this mentality to win the game. And it almost felt like they switched into this hero mentality where everyone was trying to get some sort of play going. Like that one round where they just all like pushed all the way deep into A lobby, knowing there were 3 players from G2 just standing there. And they still decided to keep going and keep trying to force the brute force way in. And it's just like, at some point, it doesn't work. You need to shift your play style. You need to shift your mindset. And they really didn't.
And look, if you want to like keep looking at rounds, like nothing sums up that game better than the final round, right? Where it's a 2v1, we're planting the spike, and the second player is walking into tree instead of holding the planter.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do there.
Dude, or even like round 15 when they were like they were stacking 3. I think it was the pistol at that point, and you had the eco, and they were running right back into B, knowing that there are 2 people that are just waiting.
On that retake when they just got trapped inside of.
And then they were pinned. Yeah. It was like that is a heartbreak to see, especially when you consider like the talent on the team. They should be able to pull off.
It really looked like the pressure was getting to a lot of these players. I think the casters are talking about it, but Havoc in particular, when he was solo playing the C site and G2 would come in that direction, just some really sloppy moments, going for a fight, then kind of half falling back, half trying to continue. The round where a player just sticks through the Killjoy ult and almost gets detained. Yeah. It was just a messy game where nothing was working for Furia.
Well, they're going to have to put that one in the bin and forget about it in the future or forget about it for now because they got to worry about the future. Forget about it. Let's go ahead, though, and see what Furia's coach has to say as we get ready for map number 2.
Liz here with the coach of Furia, a crushing defeat on your map pick. What's the mental of the team right now?
Como aqui com o coach da Fúria, se tiveram uma derrota, como é que tá o mental do time para o segundo mapa?
Cara, obviamente o mental não tá dos melhores, mas a gente tem que ser profissional e tem que resetar. A gente tem que resetar totalmente e vir pro segundo mapa como a gente fez contra a Cru. Perdemos o primeiro mapa, voltamos e vencemos o segundo. A mentalidade é essa.
Yeah, right now we just need to reset. Just like we did against Crew, we lost the first one, came back, and we won the second map. So we just need to do that and go for it.
All right, well, best of luck. You get one too.
Well, at this point, they have no other choice but to just try and keep their heads on straight as they get ready for this map 2. It's going to be Icebox here. And again, if G2 win this, they get those 2 wins. They will be playoff, qualified or allowed to contend in playoff. I'm just thrown off because we came in and Ender's wearing the G2 mask.
Oh my
I
God,
wish you guys could see this if possible, but it's good to know where your head's at, Ender. That being said, that as we get ready here for Icebox, I mean, look, Furia is just going to have to find a win here somewhere.
Here's the cope, Christy.
Give us the cope.
The Omen on this map. MW looked good. Give me your cope.
My cope is that MW's era was actually like doing cool things on the Omen, especially on their attacking side. Like he was abusing Killjoy setups in mid. And I think that's the real value of Omen on a map like this, because no matter where that turret goes, you have that freed up smoke to be able to block it off. You can also TP on top of tube. You can TP under tube and get past Killjoy setups, alarm bots, turrets, etc., etc. So I'd like to see Furia play around that style more if they're going to stick to that comp and try to play a scrappier version of Valorant up against G2.
Yeah, I mean, if they've been trying to brute force it so hard, Icebox is the map to do that, because you can just push forward and fight, and you most of the time will not get punished because that rotation is so quick, because that area that you get is so obvious for your defense and for your attack on where to rotate, where the strengths of the other team are. And with this comp, the Geckos and the KO is actually going to enable so many more of those plays.
Yeah, I love this comp. I think this is one of the best ones you can be rocking with right now. You have the Gecko KO flash combo, which can give you a lot on your retake and for re-clearing space as well. It also plays into the harbor super well. Throw up that utility over it, flood past that stuff, and you get that extra layer of creativity with the Omen. But my biggest concern for Furia is the defensive protocols, because they were falling apart on map 1.
Sure, but I think that because they have verticality, both comps, no duelist, no jet, but because Furia have the Omen, they still can play on top of things like yellow in B main. They can actually op still. That's not so much possible with comp G2's running.
All right, well, let's see how this map plays out for Furia. Or will G2 close it right here? Let's send it back over to your casters. They're British, and I love them. It's Brennan's sideshow. Yeah.
Let's see how map 2 ends up faring out. I'm picking a shirt off. Not that the cast's particularly strenuous, but I just felt like, get a bit more loose with it. Icebox being the match. And I mean, listen, these 2 compositions that both teams are playing, no duelists. Yeah. Can't exactly throw in too much proactivity with it. I've seen 2 teams try and run like the double flashes, triple flashes, whatever with the Omen. Yeah. And they try and get proactive to try and fight, for that map control on the defensive sides. And it gets thrown a miss because they don't really have a duelist into the comp when it's being ran. That's where I don't like it.
Yeah, I think that's the only weakness of the composition in my head, is that you don't have somebody to necessarily peek off the back of some of your initiator utility. But for Furia, that's going to be MW, because he's the aggressive player who's also on the secondary smokes. For G2, it becomes a little more weird because it's actually going to be Icy that's peeking off the back of a lot of the double flash. Oh, not even double flash with their composition, but the
just a flash and a
the
dart,
single flash dart, or whatever, however they decide to combo their util.
Yeah.
It's similar compositional archetypes, but different styles and different agents being used and prioritized. But I agree with the Des that it has to be on MW. He's the player that had the responsibility to retool Furia heading into this year, build a roster around himself. That's not a great start. Icy picks up the first one.
Is deep as well. They just spam down Wingman.
And now Havoc's so committed trying to get this down.
He is really separated from the rest of his team. And look at that, Harbor Wall, high tide. We'll cut them up and across onto the high ground here. MW will not fight out, traded through the wall. Plant will go down. Shock darts rebounding. Doing a lot of damage, in fact. Look at that, chipping them all the way through.
Recon available here with a Wingman that can go onto the defuse.
Knife online, doesn't get broken. No abilities here. G2 just trying to take it with raw bodies, throwing them into the mix, into the fight, and into the fray here. Seeing if they can win this one out with the pistol aim. Only one left to stand. Havoc cannot withstand it.
Great shots from G2.
Yeah.
The retake was nice. Furia, though, for all of the things that we were talking about, them being behind the meta and struggling on Lotus, there were some solid points this round. Yeah, the plant spot was really odd, and it dragged them into an unusual fight, but Nos was there ready to knife them, to deny some of that retake utility. They're clearly ready for that kind of stuff. Got a decent idea about how to post MW up in order for them to get the plant down. And at the end of the day, they just ended up getting Trented.
Yeah, bit of a trend, man.
And Icy. I mean, Icy finding another pick. And Icy has been good. He's been able to find a ton of different 1v1 situations, which have either been even or favored to him, and he's won a huge amount.
Early TP up to the high ground from MW. Looking to take somebody's head off if he possibly could from that position, but now he's backed away.
And it's this kind of thing that MW is going to be doing a lot on the attack side. And I think this is going to put pressure on Leaf to try to take fights against him.
Deep drone.
Yeah, they want to clear MW out. You know, they're thinking about the spots that he could play in. Leaf needs that info from his alarm bot, so they need to make sure that MW's not in a spot where he could slip past it. I think this is going to happen a lot. You know, Leaf looking to try and take a fight from Kitchen on top of Tube or Boiler. Leaf is hearing everything.
So he's going to be calling for the rotation, surely.
And I think G2 should be aware that there's a lurker in on A, because for them to be full sprinting into A, they need somebody posted deep. So Trent should have this awareness.
Trent doesn't want to overstep himself here. He was just whipping out the util, but okay, Leaf will strike from
30 seconds left.
the back, and here it is. I mean, Furia looking for that plant down, also being disrupted into the middle of it as well. Everybody's blinded. Shot actually hitting here on for the pistols, but Noswa, yeah, you can't stand your ground against that one. A bit of run and gun with a Spectre, tried and tested.
Another round where Trent's shooting and actually positioning bails them out. That was looking a little dangerous there. The utility was good on the retake. And just to talk about this again, in the final round of Lotus, we saw Leaf pull off a 1v2 where he was able to win it because the Furia players gave him all of the info just by running. You know, both of the players ran and he knew exactly where everybody was. Leaf got himself into a deep position, pushed down Tube and then into mid. He heard everybody running into A, and that allowed him to just silently knife out, follow them, and get that opening pick for the retake to begin. Furia have got to be careful about the info they're giving away by running around the map.
They're making it too easy. Way too easy for G2 to make the correct call here. Early util, early waves of it.
Killall doesn't like snowmen. No. All right.
I think maybe just, I don't know, whacking the keyboard. I'm not too sure. They're going to slowly look to regain some control of A. What's the protocols for it?
Well, there's a smoke there on Boiler that's going to draw people towards mid. So MW is currently putting pressure there to pull people off the A site.
What? 2 players spotted. No one's seeking to break the drone.
But can Trent get reinforcements in that? In time? No. Instead, they're just going to look to try to play a flood defend.
Shot dart, missing just ever so slightly.
So did that nade. Fragment grenade went sailing into spawn.
Now close. Almost a one-and-done position here by Havoc. Maybe he can double up. He does have Noswa just tucked behind as well, underneath rafters. What is the play now for G2? Util's got to be clean here when they don't have the guns. Here's the Dizzy. There's the dart as well. It's all being combined. Havoc now looking this way, and that, hello, shot's just missing. I mean, Valen now just being given full awareness, yet still it will be the rifles that win them this day.
Toxin screen down.
And Jonah, in the meantime, has just been held up by Khalil's turret, not able to get off any kind of flank. So Furia off to a start much earlier here on Icebox.
Yeah, this is good. Keep the weapons intact.
Now, I say much earlier, they did win the opening pistol, but in terms of like rifle rounds...
And winning a gun round, right?
Winning the gun round, those are the important ones. I think they only won a single gun round on Lotus. Was that the stat?
Yeah, it's just...
Devastating.
Devastating.
And okay, this wasn't necessarily even gun situation. Let's put it like that. G2 came in with, you know, a few pistols and a couple of rifles here and there. Now we see another test, but Furia have a Thrash to work with. They should be in another good spot to even things up, or at least have an opportunity to do so.
That's disrespectful. I mean, they are so quick onto the to the approach here, but no real idea of how to push away the orb. Getting stolen away beneath them.
Toxin screen down.
And Jonah P is just, for some reason, paranoid about mid. Maybe some early presence there, but no one is actually in that spot. Everybody grouped up onto A. Furia now looking to go into a different direction.
Yeah, MW, you can see he's missing one of his teleports. So even though I didn't catch it, I assume it was somewhere around mid at the start of the round. And it's just made the G2 players a little paranoid that...
Pinging and tube, aren't they?
Yeah, that Omen slipped through. And that's the value of having the Omen in this map. And it was something that Valen was previously playing on Icebox, and he's moved over to the Harbor instead. The biggest advantage, in my opinion, that the Harbor gives you, not even the Cove, to be honest, the ult is really good on this map.
Yeah.
I mean, the Cove also does have quite a lot of value and good synergy with Wingman. But that ult can be pretty spectacular. Valen's still 2 away.
Furia. Bit of that B presence and pressure just from a knife that was used seconds earlier. Now the thrash to lead them into the site. TP, top gen. It does open sight for them. Have a plan down, paranoia. It's good util. Stops them from really getting involved. And now Trent, Hunter's Fury, going wide there. No damage really being done to any sort of players. This backside position, they do deal with Havoc. Being removed here, but there's plenty more targets. It's a rich environment for it here. MW just trying to dominate this smoke in this one angle. It's going to get spammed out here, down to Khalil. It's the last one alive. It's going to do so much here with the Cove blocking the position. He can't even be spammed from it, so Valen's safe at the defuse and safety in numbers with the rest of his team covering it.
And one of the things that Fury is missing there in the post plan is a concept of playing a dynamic rather than a static post plan. There's a lot of teams, and kind of, if you think back earlier in VALORANT, you just kind of have a default setup for your post plan.
Yeah.
I'll play here, you play here, we've got a crossfire, easy peasy. But most teams are now trying to get more active in the post plan and set up like double faces. When Havoc swings there, why doesn't Noswa swing as well? Or try to set up some kind of combo with the utility. Instead, G2 are the team clumping up and isolating individuals on the other side. Need to see Furia still try to take initiative even when the spike's down. Oh, hello.
Oh.
Well, goodbye, Dizzy.
Yeah.
We miss you.
It's going to be lost. I was just thinking as well about a knife. I mean, they've taken first section of B. They've got nothing to clear yellow. Oh, okay, so Valen goes down there. That was an aggressive push.
That's huge.
Up onto Belt.
Valen actually had the Reckoning to work with as well, so that's a massive loss for G2. You miss out the Cove for the retake, the High Tide. Trent's now stuck on a bit of a weird angle because, you know, there's nobody spotting towards his belt.
He can get pushed from behind, yeah, exactly. There's a lot to worry about here, but this angle, he's hoping that he can get out scot-free. And yeah, with them contacting right into his crosshair.
Yep, he's gone now.
Easy as 1, 2, 3 here. He's overstaying it even as well, with a slight shock tar, but now going to be backing away and respecting it. They're fast. Furia realizing they've got this opening. Man going to be broken. Trent is really being quite disrespectful. Khalil, rapid on the ropes. Now with a null command. Pushing them back and away. This is Noswa just trying to get some space for his team to get this plant down while Leaf is on the flank entirely. Was the turret down for a moment?
It's the null command.
Planted.
Oh, okay. We'll see. Khalil. Yeah, I mean, just not calling that his turret was down for but a moment. And Leaf is able to just collect that one kill. Now they're going to be worrying about that thorn in their side. Molly's going amidst there with a snake bite, pushing it out, and that is a good swing and a trade. 2 versus 2. Out for 4-10. Havoc taking the initiative and taking that lead for the rest of his team. Leaf starting to get a bit of a move on. Pace needs to be played. Sticking this one, he's hearing it onto the ropes. I mean, Khalil is not obfuscating his position whatsoever. Can't land it, can't spray, troll it down. So another one for Furia to win this one.
Yeah, and I've got to correct myself there. I was getting confused. The null command, no way it turned off their own team's turret, but somehow
it was
managing
playing
to
out
slip
of
around.
range of it.
Yeah, just pushed a little further forward in that. But we didn't get to see Valen going down at the very beginning. G2 taking liberties, pushing up towards Belt. Really gave Furia the opening they need. And this map already, you can see that Furia have some better ideas of how they want to approach things.
Yeah.
You know, they're actually getting in onto the sites. Punishing people, having some idea of how they want to play around the map. There's still mistakes, of course. One of which being that Havoc just left Dizzy to die in the prior round, but he's got Dizzy back now. They've got G2 down onto a weaker buy.
Oh, what?
Was that MW just not quite realizing the range of his TP there?
I don't know.
it looks like, though we couldn't exactly see it, that he might have just teleported out in the open from Icy's perspective. You can't really give those away.
Reckoning. Okay, I mean, this is
double ult.
Yeah, double ult.
Reckoning into the Thrash
on a weaker buy round as well. This is going to regain control of B main.
That's a great combo if Furia are actually there.
But they're not.
And that's a really, really expensive. Icy gets his ult back, but the Reckoning doesn't come back.
Exactly.
So now Furia can just kind of walk back into B, and there's still 45 seconds.
I mean, decision making being made easy for them. Nozzle has the knife as well. Should save this one to clear yellow when they get close, just contacting. Icy though. Thrash. Yep, so there's the knife. I'm going to have that one to block off and cancel out the Thrash. Is now going to be getting used with this pit on top of it. Now, that's entertainment. A lot of targets here, but the plan's still going to go off there with Wingman. Not denied. Out through.
You should run.
Trying to take this one here. Lockdown being forced.
You got to fight.
Pulled out of Furia. They do have to fight this one now. G2 gonna start to really get a move on here. They don't have the guns for it. Shots are missing all over the place. And now you're gonna back away. Respecting it with the lockdown. Another detainment onto two of these players. This time it's Furia. Pressing forwards with that advantage that they've got. They can smell the blood in the water. What a strange round overall, but eventually this will be Furia as the winners.
That's so bizarre. This round has sent my brain spiraling. The Reckoning Thrash combo, nobody scaling off the second usage of the Thrash from G2. If somebody had pushed forwards at the same time as they'd used the Thrash, they could have broken Wingman and stopped Furia from even planting in the first place. And yeah, and this is how it opened, just TPing into the open. Even when they got the detains with the lockdown towards the end, Khalil's running back in here, not realizing Jonah P could still defend those players. There was still a chance for Furia to throw that one away. Both teams are getting extremely scattered on map 2. And it's G2 to take a timeout after 2 rounds in a row have been lost.
I would be too. I mean, after that round, that's
yeah.
I don't hate teams utilizing ults on weaker buy rounds.
Especially
if they spot an
5v4.
advantage. Yeah, if they spot the advantage, like a 5v4 like that, re-clearing, I don't hate it. But that is too many missed opportunities. You're just throwing away the future advantages at that point as well with this comp. And this comp doesn't do refights particularly well. It's one of the reasons I don't like it. When you throw a Gecko into the mix, you have double initiator, Gecko and a Sova. You do have more tools to refight for that space proactively, but who's the player who's going to be taking it? Right, is the question, right? Because when you throw in a Gecko, you have to take out a Jet.
Yeah, and I think
typically how it's played.
Your concern about that is typified by what happened in that round the second time with the Thrash.
Yeah.
Icy's Thrash, in order to put pressure on the plant, nobody followed it.
Yeah.
And in a normal composition, that would be the duelist player or something like that was looking to try to push forwards off the back of the Thrash. That is Icy. He can't do that all on his own. It's an unusual buy here for G2.
Again, another unusual buy. I mean,
an Outlaw and a Guardian playing into full armor.
Leaf ended up going down to the spike when he had the Outlaw in his hands.
Focus up.
Just to buy another Outlaw.
You wouldn't understand it.
Okay, I don't understand it. I was hoping you could explain it with the numbers, but...
Advanced economic theory,
sure.
You wouldn't get it. Subprime loans.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. Don't ask me what day it is. What day is it, Josh? Do you know?
Monday.
Oh, he does know. He's not on the esports regime just yet. He does know the day of the week. I'm surprised by that.
I mean, look at Leaf's positioning in Snowman. As Furia... Oh, Jonah's just getting a spam through there.
Yeah,
He's been spamming that orb pretty much every time it's been going up. So credit to G2. They've been diligent about it, and they finally get rewarded for it. MW, though, posted on top of Tube, might be able to punish any kind of re-clear, but Icy and Trent decide not to commit to that one. It was Leaf's positioning that was interesting me, but they are headed completely opposite, towards the A site, which is the stronger one for G2.
Trying to be spotting out MW now, who is up on top of Tube. He's going to be smoking Boiler. Putting a bit of fear into them. That's a dart being used, and actually not spotted as the wall goes down, though. They are going to be backed and around to the corner, so now G2 can flood defenders. They have a lot of players ready and waiting to get a brawl going, but 30 seconds. You don't have control of B. Where are you going?
Time?
Where are you going? Ult into the back cancelled, because guess what?
20,
I mean, Leaf is still there. 20 seconds. What is the decision making here? Smoke spot down. I mean, a snake bite's a bit late and delayed, but they're taking damage, and Just pot shots, straight shots all the way around here. Spike! It's dropped down. It's muddy. It's messy. It's, yeah. We're getting down and dirty in the mud, I think. We really are.
Some of these rounds from Furia have just been appalling. There's no other way of putting it. One of their final rounds on their attack side, when we were watching them on Lotus, was similar to this. Just horrendous pathing decisions. There's simply no time to go for something like that. There isn't, and they should know that. These players are not inexperienced. Apart from Havoc, all of them have been around for a long time.
Well, okay, Thrash is going to be used by Havoc. Immediately broken inside Tube. Has pulled a lot of these G2 players forwards, though. Plugging up the gaps in mid.
And this is the general game plan we've seen from Furia. Pull the defense towards mid, and then try to exploit A. And it's working here.
G2 do have a lot of bodies ready to flood in if they choose to, with that lockdown being used. To pit forwards, fighting it out. We're getting spammed down here by the rifles. There's waves of it, at least with the mollies, but you got to back away and respect this one because Furia just weren't ready for it.
They know where Conan is going to be. Can they spam? Not quite. Conan's got a little safe angle.
Back to the corner. I see another one receive for him here at this point. Listen, hands off the keyboard, spraying away. You're going to be hoping and praying you can receive these kills. Noswa. It's nice work from him. Over the top, though, as well. Maybe just overextending his hand over Zealous. But Conan's still alive with this pit up, and he's got to reposition. Now sticking onto the fuse. Valen, it's a reload. Oh! It's getting all over the place.
But it's G2 who take it in the end. The chuckle from a few of the players. Overall, that was quite a good retake setup from G2. They have the lockdown, and this pit, it's the meta pit that a lot of the attack side teams are doing. It allows the Viper to still get back into the pit. But G2 did a great job of pushing forwards with the lockdown and denying that space. Trent stayed on 1 HP, tucked in a corner for basically the whole round, trying to deny any of the Furia players that were trying to get back up to stop the defuse from happening. G2 understanding the round dynamics really well, happy to give them control of A because they were very confident in using Leaf's ult to retake. They're not going to run a setup like that, I would imagine, without the lockdown. And Furia take a tactical timeout, but does Furia recognize that? Does Furia realize that if they do the same kind of macro again, pull people towards mid, hit A, that they're not just going to run into a retake scenario that ruins them? Sometimes you can lose a round and you're never going to see those same scenarios occur.
Yeah, just isolating the fact that it was because of the lockdown.
Having said that, they're still going up against Trent's Hunter's Fury, which can be difficult. When you're trying to get the plant down over towards A, Trent's normally going to be in a good position to put pressure on with that ult. And the economy's been knocked again for Furia. They were doing pretty well in round 5, round 6. It looked like they were in control of the game, but it only takes one slip up.
Yeah.
Round 7 disaster class, and suddenly they're in a bad spot again.
This map overall has been looking a bit better for them compared to Lotus.
Absolutely, a world better. I know they've still only got the same number of rounds, but it really has. Like, the ideas are just a lot better from Furia.
And I mean, no disrespect as well to the makers of Icebox, but it is quite a simple map in terms of the way you play it. The macro isn't the hardest to understand and work with, so you pressure one area, you pull rotators, you hit the side, you play retake, go through the motions.
And to be honest with you, Furia, they're actually playing it a little more complicated than a lot of teams, because a lot of teams will just straight up ignore mid on their attacks.
But MW's been putting pressure there, and he's been breaking some of the... It did force. I mean, you've seen Leaf have to adjust his setups. He's putting, turret and alarm bot over towards the site, actually, now, instead of mid.
Yeah, I'm playing
MW was breaking the turret every time.
Right, I'm playing 3 bodies in mid instead, one of which is able to grab this kill onto Conan.
Ooh. It's a gap lead. He's aware of it.
A little bait setup.
Yeah.
Khalil falls for it. That's quite cute.
Catching this lurker out here with a dizzy. Up and over the top, Havoc.
30 seconds
Adjustment,
left.
80
One
with the
enemy
movement, not enough
remaining.
to save you there. Jonah P from the high ground.
That's really nice.
Top ropes, activity, and poor Nozwa. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. So G2, pretty clean round from them. They were against the weaker economy of Furia.
Poor Nozwa. I mean, he's had a rough year.
Yes.
He's got to watch his former team turn into a powerhouse while he's trying to pick up the pieces on his old squad, Furia. Rough situation for this guy, who we know has got a lot of talent, but I think you can see it's just not being demonstrated most of the time in this squad because they've got so many other issues.
This round is what the timeout was taken for, so we'll see how they end up playing this one as that early util again. Fizzy in a flash.
Can Nozwa get this ult orb? Are they going to try and play around this?
Yeah, potentially. He's going to go for it. And here it is, offloading with the ult. So Valorant did send flying a bit of that early util. Mosh pit so that nobody can play into this one. Molly into the corner. You've got to get this plant down at some point.
They keep losing Wingman, going for the plant, getting caught by Leaf's utility.
What's occurring? What's going on? Okay,
they can't get the plant down because Wingman died.
Yes. I was just wondering about this one. Okay, Hunter's Fury. One shot on target. Oh. Almost two at the back. So decent damage done, but no kills collected. And through the wall goes the bullets. Nozwa, recipient of that one in the kill feed. Lights up red.
Khalil's let the turret go down again.
Oh, no, not to the mosh pit. And his players, they are being spotted out here, revealed in the end. Nozwa didn't have anywhere to really run and evade that one. Jonah P from the back. MW brings it to the 1v1 now. Time ticking against the TP. Down to disengage. Trent, I'm going to be spotting it, so he knows the positioning of it. Not ready yet. Sticking it. He's bought himself a wink on. Smoke dropped. And hits the shot! Insane by Trent. I mean, the reactions on that one show me a replay.
That's nuts.
That is disgusting work.
Trent's had a few rounds here, 3 or 4, where he's really come up huge. Bit unfortunate there for Leaf. Khalil gets caught by the mosh pit. Lets the turret go down, and MW almost stole it.
Oh, it's pre-fire, but still, I mean... Nasty. You can, yeah, you can hear it. Teammates gassing him up.
That is lovely. Sometimes it just works out for you like that. 13-3 Trent, followed up by Jonah P, who's also having a hot game today. And yeah, I mean, credit to Furia. They're forcing G2 to actually win these rounds now. But G2 is still good for it.
What is occurring here? Okay, Thrash clearing all the way through here with deep smoke. I see Seeking extend. Oh, nice adjustment. Trent is snappy today. Feeling it here, and bodies are dropping and falling. Seeking to fight over kitchen control again, just leaping through the smoke, man. Shorty in hand, 2-2.
And W is just running into 4 at the end. So this round started off with both Thrashes being used on either side, and one getting cancelled by the 0 point. But G2 recognized that it was that mid play and just gave up on their standard defensive setup to crush it in mid. You don't get much worse crosshair placement, but Trent still hits that nasty flick.
Aim-lapse moment, I think. Look at that. And now you've got a bit of extra money to work with. It's the final round of this first half, so of course you can pick up, buy a couple of extra weapons. Operator in Icy's hands. Can be using this one down underneath Tube. Deep knife. Does connect onto Valin, but he's still going to hold his ground down.
Yeah, Valin actually wants to get tagged by that to make it feel like it's a heavy fight over B.
Couple of bullets tagging up the opposition. Gets back to safety.
He was trying to push Furia in the opposite direction, making them feel like it was a heavy stack on the other side of the site. It's a disguised defense setup. But now that Furia called the bluff, he's kind of forced to pull defenders with him. And that makes the A site much weaker. Khalil is trying to sneak in here. A good idea of how to run a 3-1-1.
Delayed pit. Drop it down here with the alarm bot taking contact with Khalil. Oh my goodness, what is going on there? I mean, you turn out in your hand thinking there's only a solo player, I think, playing inside the pits.
He's assuming that it's only Jonah, yeah, but I don't think it's reasonable to make that assumption. you know, Leaf can pop the nanoswarms from anywhere, so it's not like you know he's there, but it's a gamble you don't need to take.
We'll see if they can make the most of this one still again. Dizzy, at least the wingman dropped down with the defuse, or the plan, so a spike online into the post. That's a nice splash, and fight into the back, but it didn't quite connect onto Trent, and fully lit up there. It's a 9-3 finish with finesse there. G2 looking really quite in charge.
16-3 at the end of the half, Trent.
Yeah.
He's on fire.
We don't need to see that again. That's just, oh, it's disrespectful.
We don't need to see the low lights.
It's disrespectful. I can't believe they've done him like that. Oh my, okay. Well, let's send it down to Elizabeth, who's down on the floor with a special guest.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Now I'm here with Lanice, Valen's girlfriend, and Valen is making some noise over there. But you were talking to me before. You've been together for 9 months, correct? Yeah. You were talking to me about how it was so much easier when Valen was playing online. If things got stressed, you could just close the tab. But now you are here in person, literally watching his every move. What is it like being here in person?
I like being in here in person. Obviously, it was a lot easier if I got really stressed. I could just click out of the live stream. But it's great to be here and be able to support him. It's like been my dream for so long. We were long distance for a long time, so I'm just really glad to be here supporting him and the rest of the team and being able to see what Valorant is about. I don't play personally, so I'm learning every single time I come here. And it's just a joy to be able to be a part of it.
You say in supporting Valorant, I hear the yaws, I heard them. It's in supporting Valen. The past, even just like through kickoff to stage 1, it has been kind of a tough time for G2. What is it like being his partner? Not experiencing it directly, but being his partner through all this?
Well, it's very different than what you would think. I mean, we see everything that goes on behind the scenes. When they're stressed, we see how they can kind of get in their own head. And it is hard to kind of see that happening to your partner, but like, I feel that it's my job to be there to sort of be the mediator and kind of calm him down when he needs, or kind of give him the hype that he needs, you know, give him just the love and support that he needs to perform at his best. And I think that just kind of does more good for him. It helps him to feel good for his team. And I think he can kind of spread that love within his group.
Well, clearly so much love from you, but we have a game to get back to and support Valen. So casters, please take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, I mean, Valen, he's a very mature individual. I will say, you know, you have conversations with him. You think he would be older than he actually was. He's pretty young.
Yeah, he is.
In terms of being a pro player, and he's stepping up into that leadership role, but
in terms of that kind of mental squeeze and the pressure and all of that kind of stuff, though, I think G2 have had it fairly easy today. It's Furia the ones that are feeling that stress.
Certainly.
And they tried to convert that into initiative at the beginning of this round. 3 players down mid, seeing if they could work an early pick. And instead, they've just given Jonah P the idea that after the early stuff, there would be an opening, and he's taken it and taken the head of Khalil.
So does he replay here? Along with all of it, I mean, a full-on util dump. Havoc does win that one out, so he dominates that mid-angle back again for them. 4 versus 4.
Good work from Havoc, finding his moments. Retrieving that utility as well that he can now use for the retake.
Dart, bit of a reveal there.
MW was getting ready for the paranoia.
Yeah, no danger of the spam though, so paranoia coming through here with a Dizzy. Eventually take it out. Shots landing from Valen, a reload. Even time for it. Sky is just working them into neutral. Doesn't need a util setup. Spura heads on a swivel and aware of where to look.
Not until the job is done. That's the partner getting interviewed buff.
Yeah, it is.
Comes through.
He was turning around all the time. He's like, what are they saying? Yeah. What are they saying? What's going on? Oh.
Playing off the back of Icy's Dizzy, dodging the paranoia coming through from MW. Finds a great moment now. Same situation again. It was wasn't it 9-3 at the half on Lotus, I believe? Or was it?
Don't ask me to recall anything of that last map.
I think it was.
Don't ask me to recall much of what just happened.
It was a 9-3. Furia got pistol follow-up in 1 round. And the half ended 9-3. Then G2 won out from there. We might be in a similar situation. And again, man, Furia are taking a timeout before you can have
even a read on the setup.
Any ideas about what's happening.
Yeah, this is... It's mentality stuff. It's got to be. It's the only thing it could be.
Yeah.
We don't, obviously, you know, we're not privy to the comms, but it's the only thing it can be.
Yeah, because you're not learning anything about what G2 are doing on their attack side after one pistol round. So, well, this is going to be a long road back with no insight from the coaches if Furia are going to make a run of it from here. And based on what's happened today, you wouldn't put your money on it.
No.
It has been better for them on Icebox. It does seem like a map that they have a better understanding of, but they're still pretty far behind what G2 are offering us.
That's the trouble. The tier gap is just really getting wider and wider, it feels like, between these two teams. And I mean, for Furia, they've got that added extra pressure of trying to get that first win, that first hurdle. We've seen teams, last year, Crew, go for the exact same stuff. It's almost a mirrored storyline, not quite, Furia not at that level just yet in terms of games lost in a row, but, almost to the point.
Crew were making it close, though.
They were making it close, yeah, and they still had the confidence that they could potentially win.
That was part of the heartbreak for them, but Furia are just getting smoked right now.
And now going for an early peak. Yeah, Conan's going to be, just watch for that. That's just, again, we saw this same kind of devolving of the gameplay on Lotus.
Yeah,
Furia is throwing caution to the wind, individual plays, it's not synced up. Everybody just going for their ones.
It felt like on Lotus, as soon as they won the pistol and went down 10-3, they gave up. And now I'm sure they're not consciously giving up. Guys, I'm throwing. Like it's, they're not going to be common that.
Don't think they're common that.
But it's about getting your head in the game and trying to sync up so that you're making team play setups. Now, can Nozwa do something more? No, he did what he could to take down 2, but he's still left Khalil in a 1v3 that looks unwinnable. On Lotus, down that much, the game just went to pot for them. They were on the attack side, and they ended up just throwing in some bizarro rounds.
Yeah. Spots 2. Can't isolate the fighting time, though, and even drop down to 1 HP, so cleanly dealt with. Swept aside here by G2.
We were having a lot of conversations last year about the additional stress on some of our players and teams that weren't classically based in like the LA area or North America, USA. Right. And I do think there's an additional pressure on those players. They're further away from home, it's more difficult, not as used to the culture, the language, the culinary stuff at times as well. But I would like to hear more from Furia about what is going wrong. The Arrivals interview, they were like, how are you going to turn it around? We're going to win today. All right, that's not actionable feedback. Right. That doesn't actually tell us anything or really even show that you understand what the issues are. Can they put something together here in round 15? It's bad weaponry for Furia, and G2 get the plant down. The plant actually goes down without Wingman being denied by any kind of utility, which was a large issue for Furia on their attack side.
Offloading it now, double flash. A lot of it getting it ate up though by this Viper Orb. Dropped down and no kill, Valen.
Rough.
Whiffy there, a bit rough indeed. Plenty of players to be facing him. Here's the dart. Out flying forwards here. On with the rifles. Alongside it, great crosshair placement. Trent, great awareness on exactly the avenues of which he could be approached upon, but now they're finally coordinating it and sticking it together. But from that bell position, time ticking away, and it's 12 rounds now for G2.
Match point.
Always feeling like they're in control, even after that slip up from Valen. The play itself was quite nice.
Yeah.
Jonah P's orb up towards Rafters, stops the retakers from being able to get that position, and you can set up like a little, play where you drop the smoke whenever Valen calls for it, and in theory he should be set up for the kill. But there were still so many layers after that, with Trent posted towards Maze and then people back on Bell. Even that one way that MW threw actually ended up hurting Khalil. 12-3. Can we get some poetic symmetry in this? 13-3 on both maps?
Well, MW goes down very early. I mean, no dart breakers? Was he revealed? I'm really not too sure.
Not as easy to tell from his POV. I wasn't watching, but
it's hard to see. I saw the assist light up from Trent, but I'm not sure if that was from additional spam. Now we're going to see it. Thrash used to clear the way. Knows that there's no corners or avenues, sends it flying as well. And Leaf, look at that, he's immediately taken up the position of it with the high tide. Conan seeking to get ahead of it, but just ends up falling and paying with his life. It's looking inevitable at this point. Retake with only 3 of these players left alive. Nozwa, he lets loose. No command. emanating out here, but there's no plan of action for them. How they're going to be retaking this one. It feels more just like the death throws. Dizzy does fire, does connect, Leaf's in a bit of trouble, but he's got the backup now from the rest of his team, and just like that, it's all top orders, all crumbled. That is one of the cleanest matches we've seen in quite some time. I mean, G2 just dealing with them handedly.
How many speedrun memes do these orgs have? How many are we going to see this week? That was outrageous. Only 6 rounds dropped across 2 maps for G2. Furia looking lost. Join EG at the bottom of the table, 0-3. And another match where the Alpha team turns the Omega team into an Omega LOL team. Just brutalizing.
It's brutal, man. It is truly brutal. Got to show empathy. It's hard for the Fury players, like you're saying. I mean, these guys are playing thousands of miles away from home. And when you don't have that first win as the hurdle, it can just be a downward spiral at times.
But it's one that they've got to fix, and they've got to start making steps to fix that as well. Yeah. We're not seeing any forward momentum. G2, though, will be very happy about their performances today. People were having doubts about it. Icy online, he looked individually really good today. The theory of how they want to play and how these comps work, you got to see a lot of it. Because there wasn't that level of resistance, you got to see all of the fleshed out ways in which G2 like to approach the map, just as they drew it up.
Just as they drew it up, and a winner for them. It's going to pave the way for a potential playoff run as well. I mean, still, it's a lot in the air for these teams in the groups and the way it mixes and matches, of course. There could be all sorts going on in terms of tiebreakers. We don't actually know yet.
No, that's quite true. But G2, because they're in the Alpha group, would be playing against Leviathan next. That's a tough game based on how Levi's been performing.
Lever in monstrous form.
But then their next 2 matches against 2 more Brazilian squads, MIBR and Loud. Now, those are winnable games, except Loud, you never know quite what form they're going to be in. And that's, you know, weeks from now, so we don't know because so much can shift over to a lot of shift. So for G2, it's just, I think, about capitalizing on this performance, trying to get big games like this one out of Trent today. Get that happening more often, get things working, and they've got their chances against those teams to make playoffs and maybe do some damage.
Yeah.
A lot of people have a lot of high expectations for G2 because they looked so good at the end in Ascension throughout their tier 2.
I mean, I certainly did.
Yeah.
High expectations for all the Ascension teams.
Yeah, and I think they've failed to live up to that at the moment, but we're still very early on in the year. There's plenty of time for them to grow from here and take wins like this and start to cascade it forwards into some momentum.
Yeah, no, I completely agree as well. Well, waiting it now. Well, actually, Elizabeth is ready down on the stage for the Verizon post-match interview. So there you go. Happy timing. We'll send it down now.
And I'm here with the man of the hour. It is Icy from G2. A splendid performance from you and your team. 13-3, stealing the first map pick and taking it to your map. Talk to me about the emotions right now. Very generic questions, but how do you feel?
I'm feeling good. It was a big win to start our Super Week. You know, we have Lev next, and I'm looking forward to our next games.
So talk to me about Lev, because they were talking at the caster desk. Like, that is a very daunting, big opponent to play against. How do you feel about facing Lev?
They've been looking good, but, you know, like, we're going to play our own game. We're going to come out, and we're going to, you know, do our thing.
You're gonna do your thing. Well, I wanted to ask you about, I talked to Josh and I said, you know, he said that Icy needs time to kind of acclimate and warm up. After this performance, do you think it is fair to say that you have acclimated quite well to G2?
I think I'm like integrated well into the system, and like slowly, like we're getting there, like game by game, we're like progressing and we're doing better and better as a team.
Now, this might be the first time some people are meeting you on the VCT stage. Would you like to say anything to anyone, whether it be fans, loved ones?
You know, like just shout out to my family, my girlfriend, everybody who supports me, like my team. We've been, you know, working hard at this, and yeah.
Well, congratulations again. Everyone give it up for Icy one more time. We're gonna go to a break, but stay tuned because you know what game that's next. It's 100 Thieves versus Cloud9.
Red Bull gives you wings.